without further ado, we're going to go ahead and let's rock with the homie, Wayne Akbar Prey. What's good, man?
What's up, Nick?
Cool,
How you doing,
cool,
my brother?
Man, brother, it's been a long time coming, man. We actually got to hear about you, man, from I believe your nephew,
Yeah.
A Beasley, man. He was a part of the Venus Music Talk Radio staff, and he told us about you, probably over a year ago, man. And it's a blessing that we finally got you on. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I don't want to talk too much, man. I just kind of want to get right to it, man, because I know your time is very precious,
Yeah, they got us allocated a little bit.
Right. So, man, just starting off, man. Also, you're on the phone with my man Brandon. He's the owner and CEO of this station, and you've been doing big things, man, and helping everybody out in the Bay Area and actually over the world, man. So you're on live all over the internet, man.
Blessed to see you, man. Glad to have you on.
Listen, it's my pleasure, Brandon.
Right. Basically, man, I'm kind of combine the two questions into one right now. We talk a lot on our show, about, upbringing, and upbringing to me is important in helping to develop, a person, whether it be a man or a woman. But, your upbringing, how you were brought up is definitely something that plays a big hand in, your outcome, in life as you get grown. So basically what I want to ask you right now is, give us a little history on your upbringing, and basically from the time you were raised until now, how do you think that affected your decisions, in life, basically?
Well, in a lot of ways, Hanif, my story is not a lot different from everybody else's, but in a lot of ways it's very different. I was raised basically in a drug environment, like a lot of people. I think that one of the things that I probably benefited from is that back in the day, a lot of the drug abusers were intellectuals. They were highly literate. And so I was around guys that in between nards, they was quoting Shakespeare. They was talking about Cayenne. They was talking about Kipling. So it gave me sort of an appreciation for poetry and a love for reading. I think that was one of the things that probably put me on the path of, having an inquisitive mind and wanting to do a little more and read a little more and understand a little more. But after that, like I said, like most people, the police used to kick our door in once a week. My family was in the drug business. They kept the stash in my pajamas. If somebody wanted to cop, when they came to cop at 2 or 3 in the morning, they woke me up and give me 2 bags. Give me 3 bags. So that was my life. My little hustle as a kid, if somebody wanted to get off and they couldn't find a vein, they used to wake me up and I'd find them a vein. I'd help them get a hit. Wow. Notwithstanding that, I got an appreciation for literature because I was always a voracious reader. So, I went through that world, and as they say, Nietzsche said, everything that doesn't kill us makes us strong. I think that notwithstanding all of that, there was a benefit in it for me. I learned a lot, I saw a lot, and it made me ultimately become who I became.
Right. So yeah, you were just from the hip, man. You was basically, into the game, So you pretty much.
I was born to it, I was born in it. They were selling dope in my family when I came into the world.
Right.
The members of my family were dope fiends, drug addicts and drug users.
Right.
So that was the world I knew, and like they say, you play the hand you dealt.
Right. Okay, well, let me get on to something else, man. Basically, with you being locked up in the system right now for, 22 years?
22
almost?
years. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
How do you feel, as far as, do you feel like this has molded you into a better person, or has it broken you, or was it like the first 5 to 10 years it was like you were leaning one way, like pretty much forget the world and everybody in it, or
No, I think that's probably when you come to jail. Not to cut you off, Annie. I think that when you come to jail, one of the worst philosophies that you can do is to say, forget the world, I'm all in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to learn how to live in your head. You know, I mean, I'm in the prison, but I'm not of the prison.
Right.
So, did it weaken me? No, it gave me perspective. It gave me a little time, for a lot of time, in my case, for introspection. But it also taught me something that you probably don't get a chance to learn on the outside world because you're running. And it taught me to prioritize. It taught me what's absolutely important. And it made me realize the people that should be important.
From a federal prison.
The people that should be important to me in my life because the people that I was important in their lives.
Right.
Because a lot of times you get support from unlikely places, and a lot of times the places that you expect for them to be, you don't get it, and the places that you would never expect to get it, you end up getting it from. So that's been my experience, but and it's been long and it's been protracted, but I'm not the worst for wear. That's why I said everything that doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Okay, that's a good attitude. That's a great attitude. Now, do you think, I hear that your situation, like, tell us a little, how much can you tell us about your situation as far as, how you got locked up, the people that were involved as far as, the legal officials, and then, I guess, the suppliers that, were, in the business with you, what I'm saying, are basically supplying you with, the narcotics.
Okay, allegedly.
Allegedly. There we go.
Yeah, allegedly. I was tried on I think the third person in the country to be tried on what they call an 848B. That's the super kingpin statute. Now, the standard 848 that's the kingpin statute, and that means that you supervise 5 or more people. You made substantial income and resources from narcotics, and you did it over a certain period of time. The super kingpin statute requires something else. It requires that you made at least $10 million in that 1 year, or you had 150 keys of coke in that time period, or 10 keys of heroin, and that you were the kingpin, that you were the kingpin's kingpin. In other words, you supplied the suppliers. So I was the third person in that to get sentenced under that. One of the things that is required under that statute is that under the regular kingpin statute, the sentence is 10 to life if it's the first offense, and 20 to life if it's the second. Under the super kingpin, there's only one sentence. It's life with no parole. So even with that sentence is considered so egregious that they have to go to Washington first and get an approval to even bring it. As far as the people that I was alleged to involved with, I was involved with a young lady. Her name was Martha Gomez. She was from Colombia. She was extremely well-to-do, extremely well-off. And she ended up getting arrested, I think, in October of 1987 for importation of, I think, 127,000 pounds of marijuana and 1,000 keys of coke.
Wow.
She was a high roller. She had islands in the Bahamas and the whole nine. But she was my girl. She was my girlfriend. About 1 year later, after she had been arrested, she agreed to come to a grand jury in Newark and testify against me. And she testified that I had her import from Colombia 200 kilos of coke. So since there wasn't any physical evidence to substantiate it, and everything was based upon her word, I was tried on what they call a lifestyle trial. And that means that they look at your lifestyle and say, ask the jury, basically, do you think that a person could afford to live like this and not be selling drugs? So when they don't have that, it's what is called the dry conspiracy, too. When they don't have any physical evidence, and they don't have anybody that says that you sold them anything, then this is how they try it. They try it on what they call a lifestyle. So in my particular case, they didn't really bring a lot of witnesses, nobody that could say that I sold them anything. What they ultimately brought was 127 document witnesses. In other words, every place that I spent money during the entire course of like 3 or 4 years, every hotel that I checked into, Helmsley Palace, the Golden Nugget in Vegas, out in California, the Bonaventure, whatever hotel that I was in, they had the desk clerks in them. They subpoenaed them in from all over the country, every place that I went to. Every store that my wife purchased goods or stuff at, they subpoenaed all of them. The people that put my carpet down, the people that rotated my son's wheels on his car, my gardener. they subpoenaed everybody that except that I spent any cash money with over an 18-month period to show that I had substantial income and resources. What was problematic for them is that I had businesses. I had a car leasing company and 2 car lots, and I had two clinics, two women's, that's what they were, abortion clinics at the time. But I had two, so I was generating a lot of legitimate income. So that became the crux of the argument as to whether or not you felt like I could live like that, and whether or not you deem my income that I did generate legitimately to be enough to make me live the lifestyle that they said that I lived.
Wow.
Yeah,
you educating us, man. We're on live with homie Akbar Prey, man, and his story, man, is definitely, man, it's life-changing because I've never heard of that before, lifestyle.
Well, to the young brothers out there that might happen to hear this, they don't need physical evidence, and people misunderstand the conspiracy law. What the conspiracy says is that 2 or more people decide to enter into a criminal enterprise, but you don't need physical evidence to establish that, because the person that you could co-conspire with, whatever they say becomes evidence. It's just like it's like they almost got a smoking gun. So a person could say anything. Me and you could have this conversation. I could hang up off the phone and say, listen, me and Hanif agreed to import 200 keys. Then the burden is on you basically to disprove it. Because I'm your co-conspirator, my statement is considered evidence. That's why it's such a difficult charge to beat.
All right, cool. That was the third segment from the Akbar Prey interview that pre-recorded earlier. Definitely, like I said, he's dropping some deep knowledge, man, for those people that are, involved, especially in the music industry, and involved with that lifestyle of, promoting drugs and narcotics or whatever, you're doing with your music, especially if you're in the urban music today. The radio singles and stuff like that, I mean, they're all promoting basically, using negative type of stereotypical drugs, sex, money, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely put out there for our kids to affect the younger individuals, but at the same time, there's some grown-ass men, you know what I'm saying, and grown-ass women that are affected by it as well, you know what I'm saying, which helps cloud the judgment who they may have kids, you know what I'm saying, and if they're, 35, 30 years old, 40 years old, and doing the same thing that the radio tells them to do, then what do you think their kids are doing,
We've actually talked about this before, and I agree that, celebrities or any type of entertainer does have some degree of responsibility for putting certain type of images out there. Thing is, though, half these people that's actually telling you this don't do none of the above in the first place, one. So you got to use your own damn head when you listen to people and what decisions you make based on what you've heard. We too sheepish. I keep saying that a million times over on this show. We are too sheepish because we never give credit to none of the scholars when your kid go and graduate from high school. Nobody said, well, you know what? You know what I'm saying? I'd like to thank God and Martin Luther King for me to be able to graduate from high school. Nobody says that shit. So quit blaming everybody that actually does something wrong for the reason why your kids is doing some shit they ain't got no business. Why, if you chose to get in the game, you chose to get in the game. Bottom line. Based on what you know.
But you know what, V? We live in a world where it's like super impressionable. Like it seems like, but you know how it is, V. Like, the dope dealers and the people that live a fast life is the ones that the people are attracted to the most. No matter how many times people are going to tell you, you know what, get in your own lane, do your own thing. It's not going to happen, man. I mean, you get way too many people. You're right. And you know what, V? I agree, because you know what? It's too damn bad that there's so many people that's trained like that. But, you do have so many young children and people that don't know no better. There's so many people that don't know. But it's a lot of...
They don't want to know no better. That's the problem. That's why I don't like it, and that's why I don't like people to keep saying it. Because we have a predetermined excuse. Well, if it wasn't for him doing it, then I wouldn't have done it. Bullshit. You wanted to do that.
Right. You're right.
Everybody in the game know the risk of the game. Everybody in the game know the risk of the game. That is not oblivious to you at all. At all. Every dude that ever hustles know a dude that's locked the fuck up for the rest of his life for it. He know a dude is dead for it. He knows a dude is strung out from doing that. You lying to yourself if you believe that. Yeah. Ain't nobody in the game oblivious to that. And that's what I'm saying. And if we use these damn excuses all the time about why we keep doing something, because they want to be the next LeBron James or the next Akbar Prayer, whoever it is you're trying to emulate. Man, try to do better than them. Try to outdo them. I don't want nobody to say he was almost like so-and-so. I want to be that so-and-so. Mm-hmm. That's our problem, man. We are predetermined to fail and to lose. We don't want to win. We don't want to be something bigger and better than anybody ever imagined. We need to get that out of our mindset. We keep putting a predetermined excuse for everything we do. Well, if it wasn't for the white man to do this, black man could do that. Yes, that's true to some degree, but you got to get off your ass at some point. You got to use that thing that you got in between your ears at some point. Everybody that did that are the ones we're trying to emulate. Preach. Yep. Everybody that did that. Everybody that actually, for every Tupac you've seen, he put his mind to use and put his feet on the pavement. That's what you got to do to succeed in life. Period. Let's use that as an excuse. Well, when you ain't getting what you want out of life, say, damn, well, I guess if you get off your ass, maybe it'll happen for you.
Yeah, that's word right there. Yeah, I feel what you're saying, man. You do. You got to get up off your ass and do something. You got to take the horse by the reins, man, and just fucking take over the game, man. You know, if you want to do something, all you got to do is put your mind to it.
No, it's like V said. You gotta do it. You gotta do it your way. You don't have to do it anybody else's way. Don't do it V's way. Don't do it Vito's way. Don't do it Incent's way. Do it your own way. But we live in a world, and you know what? Like V said, we live in a predetermined world where it's just kind of laid out there. Okay, you know what? I want to be like this guy, that girl, this guy, that girl. And that's the sad state that we live in right now. Like, this is a perfect example about just exactly how it is. But, not to get on that too heavy, but about Akbar Prey, to me it's kind of like, it's this society that we live in where you have too many people. We live with this whole judicial system where, to me, I think it's fucking backwards anyways, you know what I'm saying? There's so many flaws in that. And you know what, V? There's predetermined laws, you know what I mean? And there's laws that people make up, too, am I right?
That's all there. I think the laws are, some of them are prejudicial, because that one that he got convicted on, that's wow. But it's not that shocking to me, because when they can't catch it, the thing is, smart people to get on that level understand the law. They understand how they get caught, what they can and cannot do. So that's those type of laws are to catch those that go, this dude is realizing that I can't wiretap him because he does nothing over the phone. How am I going to catch him? He never puts his hand on it. How am I going to catch him? Those are the people that actually get to that level, and they are the reasons why those type of laws exist, because they have laws. When you live in, when you're in the game, there is no laws. There is no laws. You get to do what you feel like you want to do. If you feel like the competition is taking too much of your money, you can murk the whole squad. Now, you got to deal with the consequences with that, but you can do that.
Yeah.
It's not against the laws of the game. You can do that. They have laws. They have rules that they got to go by. So the smart ones figure out, well, how much time will they give me for this? How much time I'm going to do for that? Well, I'm never going to get caught with this. I'm never going to do that. You can't be caught at this point until they make some law to say, well, you know what, we can't catch you on. That's the reason why a lot of drug dealers, there's bosses that never get caught, go to jail for tax evasion. Man, how the hell did you have 10 houses, dude? But he had legitimate businesses, so they couldn't catch him on nothing. Of course they knew they wasn't going to never have him in a car with 2 keys. They would have never caught him like that. He would have been able to do his thing forever. So that's the reason why those laws are done like that, and it's prejudice to some degree. Funny to me that you can do way more time for crack than you can for cocaine. Well, I don't know anybody that sold crack that didn't have cocaine. Picture that.
Right.
But that's what they do because who's according to society, who's the crack dealers and the crack users? Black folks. Who uses cocaine? Rich, upper class society people that got a little money. We don't want to put them away. That is politics and all of this stuff, man. I mean, if we start opening our eyes, things can change because we can go, man, that ain't even right, dude. But the reason why those type of laws go like that is because we got people sitting on the sidelines that ain't in the game, that probably don't do that, which is understandable. Say, well, I don't give a fuck what goes on in the prison. I don't give a shit if they have laws like that. If you ain't doing something you ain't got no business doing, you ain't got to worry about it until something happens to you where you get extra time for not having the money for a lawyer or some other shit. Then it becomes important to you. So that's just my point on it. You know what I'm saying? I agree with it that, you know, people have some type of responsibility for people. They know that people follow them, and so you got to have some type of responsibility about that. But the bottom line is, man, half these people that's going to say, well, I did it because so-and-so did it. Well, really? Did you put in the same amount of hours that Tiger Woods puts in to be the best golfer in the world? Do you put the same hours in? No, then don't tell me about shit he did about that was the reason why you cheated on your wife. Because if you really wanted to be like him, you'd be having your ass out there on that golf course all day long like he do. You'd have been doing it since he was 5 years old like he do. But you chose the part that suited you and did that, and now you got caught and you want to blame it on somebody else. That's bullshit.
Well, yeah, man, I hear everybody's points, man, and it's definitely, you know, like I said, we've talked about this time and time again. And another thing I want to bring up that Akbar said, and I've said time and time again, you know, about it being that trap, you know what I'm saying? And like we said all this time, there's been so many people that, you know, want to be the boss, want to be boss baller or whatever, but whoever is on top forever, who's the boss forever? Nobody. Nobody's got it all. Nobody's done it all. It's a rise and a fall. You know what I'm saying? You come up, you must come down. Bottom line. So I think people get in this game, you know what I'm saying, whether how small or how big they get in this game, and they fail to realize that they lose sight of that. That okay, well, I'm in the lane right now, but you know, ain't nobody gonna get me.
Well, everybody, I mean,
hit right bottom.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be in the game thinking that you can't be gotten. I mean, you gotta expect that. Yeah, I can be got. How much I'm gonna get got with? How much time I'm willing to do, and what am I willing to do if it comes to that? I mean, most people don't even think of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get caught with a bird, that's life. Period. I don't know how many. I'm assuming it's every state. Like, you get caught with a bird, you better be ready to do life, or you better be ready to have that gunfight and get the hell up out of the country and be on the run for the rest of your life.
But see, and you have an Akbar situation, like, you know what I'm saying, they never physically caught him with nothing. They never seen no pictures with him moving no keys out nowhere. They never seen none of that stuff. A lot of what he got caught up in, and man, it's hard for me to imagine.
That's foul to me.
Doing life. Nah, seriously, V, like, it's hard for me to imagine some dude that's doing life. He served 22 years of a life sentence based off of a lifestyle law and 127 documents of quote unquote witnesses. That doesn't even tie him to no dope. Like,
I
don't understand.
Yeah, that's pretty foul. A life sentence for something that you can't pin me to, to me, that's inhumane. Yeah, you should not be able to be pinned down for the rest of your life for nothing that you can't stick a person to and say, yes, we know for a fact you did it. Because that's still a big-ass assumption. Maybe he was legitimately getting some money like that. Maybe.
Right. But then that goes back to the thing I was saying earlier, in a sense, what happened to that whole innocent until proven guilty shit? You know what I'm saying? It makes me really doubt. It makes me really doubt that whole. I mean, you know, I always thought there were so many fucking holes in the judicial system, anyways. You know what I mean? So what happened? What happened to that whole innocent until proven guilty? Look at this. Like I said, I didn't know. Like, I remember a buddy used to always tell me about his uncle, but I never really did pay attention. You know, until now. You know what I mean? And then went back and tried to do some more research, and it's still flaws. There's so many things, like, you know, I just hope they're still doing what they need to do to try to appeal and get this guy out. But 22 years serving a life sentence, like, goddamn, seriously.
Well, all I gotta say is about that innocent to proven guilty. That's for everybody that ain't never been caught doing something. Trust me, because you know for a fact that you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn. I mean, how many times we watch TV and said, "Oh man, he did that. He can guilt them kids."
Right.
And all you know is what the reporter told you, and they might not know a damn thing. But he's guilty. He killed his wife. She's missing. Has to be the husband. We do it all the time.
But you know what? Instance, what he said during that interview, and I was listening to it just now, because it seemed like, you know, if you listen to it a second time, it just seemed like it gets better. So what he said, like, during that time, like, you know, he was like, you know, well, what if, you know, him and, you know, Akbar and Incense was doing their thing, and, you know, you told him, hey, you know what, I'm about to move these keys over to XYZ, and, you know what I'm saying, and then find out later, like, you know, his word against you is just like having proof. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, so, and to me, that's alarming to me, because I mean, what if there is a group, and there can be groups of people that can conspire against you to bring you down? So what happens when you get them 20, 10, 20, 25, 30, 127 people that's going to say, hey, you know what, we want to take this dude out for whatever reason. Let's just go ahead and say he did something one day to somebody, and then let's go ahead and document that and write it down. You're guilty. So, you know, that's what I mean. I don't understand. I don't give a fuck what state you in or what city you in or whatever. That's not justice.
And this is federal, so it's
nationwide. I don't agree with that. That's a cold law there.
I mean, you got to think about it, though. A lot of these people that's innocent is pleading guilty now. Public defenders tell them to take a plea. You're not going to win in trial. But I'm innocent. Why do I have to plead guilty?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The system has changed a lot. I mean, this is not something that's just luck, or, you know, it just happened that way coincidentally. This is something that was strategically planned throughout years, you know, and I'm not trying to bomb the government or bomb the justice system, because I know a lot of things that I'm not going to say on the air. But at the same time, you just have to realize what's going on. I mean, people need to crack these black law books. If you about reading, then don't read just the Source magazine. I mean, pick up a book. Like, there's a lot you can learn just on your own, self-educating about laws and how to represent yourself in court, you know. I took a lesson from a couple guys out here. I watched how they fought the justice system on their own, and they're Moors. You know, I'm not Moorish in any way, shape, or form. I'm not, you know, promoting that or denouncing it. But at the same time, I watched them represent themselves in the court of law and really do a good job at it. You know what I'm saying? Just off of reading and educating yourself. And I think that that's a big thing that Akbar tries to instill in the youth is self-awareness, man. Like, I mean, you got to be able to read, and if not read, at least take the knowledge when it comes to you and be open to it. You know what I'm saying? So.
You're right. That's good, because that's what we try to you know, get across to, you know, the people that listen to us, and, you know, if they got kids and whatnot, we try to get them to, you know, to read, because, man, it's amazing, man, the kids these days, dude. I mean, not even just the kids, but I know people, you know what I'm saying, a little younger than myself that, you know what I'm saying, you try to get them to read something, and they're like, man, what does that say? And they can read. They just don't want to. They can read, but they just don't want to.
See, I mean, I'm 26, and just not to cut you off, but you see, I got 2 kids, and there's so many distractions now compared to when we were coming up that it's so easy for them not to pick up a book. You know what I'm saying?
Now, you know what? I gotta slightly disagree, because I think we still had similar distractions. I think it's on a national scale now. I think it's turned up a little bit more, of course, than it was when, you know, back in the 80s or whatever. But, you know, you kind of got to remember.
We did have
you got to remember, but you got to remember, too, like, you know, in the 80s, you know, everybody was just getting hip to this crack epidemic, and it was just so rampant and widespread that a lot of people lost their way literally back in the day. Now it's kind of like, in the eyes of the public, it's a little bit more tolerable now. Everybody can be able to deal with a crack epidemic now as opposed to how it was when it first popped off.
Right.
It's a little, I feel what you're saying though, but it's a little bit different. I just feel like, what you're saying about the kids nowadays with so many distractions is exactly what V said earlier, where, you get too many people that's just kind of like, you have too many kids and adults too that turn their minds into mush and that just want to get the next thing smoking and the glitz and the glam and all that other shit. And to me, that's where everybody will fail, not just kids, everybody else. Like you said, pick up a damn book. Stop looking at TV. You know what I'm saying? Go talk. Not only that. Talk to your parents or your people that you look up to. Don't just pick up you can pick up a book and go talk to your folks. Don't just read, don't watch TV and not say nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's I feel like we fit right there.
We do it every day because we're locked in this box. We're locked in the box. We're locked into the TV. We're locked into technology. All of us who got these iPhones and iPads and HTC TVs, that's making us do that because it's like we're all about quick information. How do you don't have to read as much. Oh, that's quick. I can find out about LeBron in a minute by touching my phone. Oh, man, I'm gonna do it that way. So
right.
I actually feel what Hollywood is saying. There are a little more distractions, I believe, these days.
I feel
because technology is so much technology around us. The kids don't even go out and play, dude.
Here's the thing what I always feel about technology, though. I feel this about technology. Technology to me is there.
And we had in television, and then, we got the Nintendo or whatever, but you think my dad let us play that all the time? No. We still have to go outside. We might just get to play it on the weekend.
We still read our books. We still had to. We had no choice. You know what I'm saying? But look check it out, though. The reason why we had no choice was look who was telling us what we need, where our path needed to be. You know what I mean? Look who was telling us where we needed to go ahead. Hey, you know what? Put down this video game. Put away that Atari 26. You got some reading to do, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's just, even though but I feel what both y'all saying about it being, with one touch of a button now, you can be able to have a pulse of the world in the palm of your fingertips. But I always feel like technology nowadays is misused. I've always felt technology was misused and mishandled. And that's what I always feel. I always felt like that because, you can have the power of the world in your fingertips, but a lot of times it can be used for evil and not for good, though.
Mm-hmm. Sure. But it's slowly killing us. Like I said, we don't like to read anymore.